Hey, there's no microphone, autumn falls, kill 'em off, whatever you want to call me. This is the second video I made today. There's gonna be three, I know. Ooh, three videos. The first one was a little bit serious. That's about my friend and what's been going on with him. I'll Everything is explained in that video and stuff like that. This will be a separate video, and then the next one will be a separate video. Also, I'm sorry for the no microphone. I didn't want to say in the last video because I want to put out as much as I could in that allotted time I have. Um, to be frankly, I've been really busy the last like few months, especially this summer. I've been helping out with my dad, my grandma, doing stuff at my grandma's house, and I have a lot going on at my other house. A lot of moving parts here and there, and the time I do have downtime, I just want to spend time with my family and friends. So unfortunately, I've been having too much time just to sit down, relax, talk about stuff. Um, but I want to make this video because it's a little interesting. What's been going on? So it's about what's been going on with the YouTube channel Oneyplays, and for those who don't know, it's a YouTube channel mostly run by the guy who made the Oni NG. His name is Chris O'Neill, and then he has like other people who are mostly other artists, both Newground YouTube, but also to like music and stuff like that. And mostly they just play video games. They just shoot the shit. They just say outrageous stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing harmful. Nothing meaningful. I should say. They say outrageous stuff, but it's like nothing outrageous. And actually, this kind of goes with the next video I want to talk about. So this is like the dichotomy of like especially on the internet, like what you could and can't say. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but also at the same time too, you have to have some sort of morals. And I feel like morals are just like they're fucking gone. They're gone. It's dead. The magic in his tits, they're gone. It's dead in the ground, 6 feet under. Morals is gone. So and self humility is gone too, or has expanded to an unhealthy amount. So there's that. Um, but I don't want to get into. I've followed Oni and G and like a lot of these Newgrounds people since I want to say 2013. I've always been interested in animation and all that. This was like my animation boom because this was when around when Leo and Satan and Hellbenders came out, but it was also a year or two before the trailer. Well, no, Ruby came out in 2012, so it was about that time that the Ruby Red trailer came out in 2012. So around that time, yeah, that was a golden era for me to like discover animation, whether it's 2D or 3D animation, and just overall YouTube in general. I was introduced to a wider range because it was introduced onto the Xbox 360, in which that's where I watched shit religiously on that 360. That thing has been used and abused. Holy shit! But not to get too far into the past, I want to get to the now and a little bit in the past. Um, when the YouTube channel, when Oni and G first started, they had two people. One was called Ding Dong, I know. The other guy is called Julian. Um, and they would do videos with each other and stuff like that. Around the same time, they were in the YouTube channel Game Grumps. That's a whole other. I know that's a whole other fucking can of worms. I'm not gonna get into it. But basically, they were using the same office, and around the same time, Ding Dong Julian and a little bit of Chris O'Neill and a bunch of other people, they were working on the game called Dream Daddy Simulator, which is it's kind of a satirical, but also a little bit of a serious romance, like gay romance novel game. I don't know what the proper name is. Um, but it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. It was more so of a joke, but not to the detriment of like gay people or like DILFs, if you want to call them. Um, but there was a situation that happened where Ding Dong and Julian felt like they were I don't want to say shysted, but like they were kind of ostracized from everybody except for Chris O'Neill and the Oni and G people. I don't know the whole scenario. You could look it up, but basically they felt like the game was not appropriate in the case of like helping gay people or the LGBT plus community. But then they got ousted from the Game Grumps. Eventually, they moved to their own office with Oni and G. And then there's a whole other controversy with Oni and G in the case of like who they're friends with. I mean, there is the adjective of if a Nazi sat down at a table and everyone else doesn't get up, you're sitting at a table full of Nazis. I don't necessarily believe in that. I believe that there are like different levels of depravity that warrants the getting upness. And I think that's pretty well said with Shad Base. I'm not gonna explain Shad Base too well. That's a fucking landmine I don't want to touch. Because Jesus Christ, that guy is fucked. Yeah, it's 7 layers of fucked right there. But he wasn't always as open of a weirdo as he is now. But Ding Dong Julian said that, oh, why would you be friends with them? And then they would go back and forth, and eventually they would leave Oni and Chi because everyone was making fun of them, especially the fact that Ding Dong and Julian are a gay couple, and that's why they were asked about Drink Daddy all that time ago. So, what's that to do now? Well, recently, I believe a month ago now. Sorry, I have the video. I see the video right now. I see the little trailer going by. That's pretty funny. Basically, they said that Chris O'Neill, Zach Hadel, the creator of Smiling Friends, and all that. Even Joshua Tomar, mind you, he's an ethnic Ashkenazi Jew. This will be important a little bit in a second here. Lyle Rath, Corey Beck, all these people are neo-Nazis. Now I know there's a lot of evidence that Israeli Jews can be Nazis. Let's be honest here; they are committing ethnic genocide, so that's pretty on par with Nazism. But first of all, you don't really get that with Joshua Tomar, especially with him being a voice actor for so long, and also you just don't really see that with everyone else. They make fun of each other, but it's not warranted to be a Nazi, I don't think, from everything I've seen. Now, I don't know these people. I actually had a conversation last night with somebody who said that they don't like Markiplier because they had this evidence. And I'm like, well, in my opinion, I don't think he's as bad as a person as he was or is. There's evidence that, he might have been a hard ass, especially to like the guys from Super Mega, to a couple other people, like his editors. But I think, at the end of the day, as long as you're not like actually hurting people, you're saying as a joke, you're not, you don't have that hatred in you to say, to like be hurtful. You're making light of a bad situation or a bad outcome for people. You're not making fun of them. You're making fun of the stupid situation that they're in. And I know I'm not saying it correctly, but this is as best as I can. But yeah, they said all this stuff. Apparently it was a 24-hour stream where they were just going at it about the Oneyplays guys. They were saying it ruined their life. I will say though, Ding Dong being outed to his family about being gay, who apparently his mom is very homophobic and stuff like that. I can understand you being mad about. But this wasn't Oni and G. This wasn't Oneyplays people. This was Game Grumps people. And apparently Game Grumps has had this scenario before. But also, too, at the same time, it's a little weird that you don't name names. Like, I mean, I could be ignorant. I could 100% be ignorant. But if they don't have your contact info and you say names, can they actually... I would assume they would still sue you. for like defamation or whatever. But if you have the evidence, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's a sticky situation. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know shit. I'm just saying. I'm just asking questions. You know, about this, about the specifics of this. Um, but them just dragging them through the mud is really. It's just really, it puts a sour taste in my mouth. You know, yes, I like these guys. Yes, they can be problematic. Everyone's problematic. Yeah, I'm fucking problematic. But also, I hate myself, so that's why I make fun of myself all the time. You know, self-deprecation, humiliation jokes are probably sometimes the funniest to me. But I don't know, just something about this puts a weird taste in my mouth, and I just don't like it all that much. So, I, I don't know. I just want to put this out there because I'm just like the internet fights are so weird. I just don't know what the outcomes is sometimes. Sometimes there's not an outcome. There just is as it is. You know, I don't think badly of Jillian Ding Dong. I mean, they were wronged, yes, but too at the same time, it's like you're dragging other people through the mud for petty stuff. There's a whole list of petty stuff that they complained about, and there's like no need for it. So, I I don't know. It's just something I don't like. You know, yes, I do like OMG and stuff like that, but I mean, no one's absolved from criticism or absolved from crimes. But I think the stuff that they listed is just not enough. Also, too, the thing with the chat base too. I'm kind of coming back to it now. You dealt with him for so long, but you never called the police. You never had a private investigator. You never got up from the table from the Nazi, which he more than likely is. I'm like 90% sure he is a Nazi. Like not just like, oh, I like the aesthetic, which is like weird already, but you didn't get up from that table until well after the fact. So how long were you a Nazi? Like I said, when a Nazi sits down at a table and no one gets up, they're all Nazis. How long were you a Nazi for? That's you want to throw peanuts at an elephant. You want to throw peanuts at an elephant. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a pissed off elephant because they don't like shit thrown at them. So I don't know. That's my thought. That's my stupid monkey orangutan body take. So that's how it is. On this channel, unfortunately, it's just me spewing out bullshit. I guess I don't know. So I will see you guys in the next video. It'll be coming out in around the same time. So all right, bye bye.